Hi, guys. Happy Saturday. Hey, I see so many friends in the chat. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Hey, Dana, Jennifer, Leslie, Liz is here. And guys, we have Colleen here in StreamYard and also with you in the chat there. Lori's here and Jan. Hi, guys. Just scrolling up, saying hi to everybody. I have a really fun, really happy spirit necklace to show you today. It is so fun. It's a rainbow inspired theme. It has all of the chakra stones, beautiful strand of chakra gems. And I do have a, I decided this morning that it needed to have some instructions and just a summary of some of the little things that you might want to reference. So there is a downloadable for this as well. And it's just hot off the presses. So check it out. But I'm going to be working today with a mix of rainbow things. So I have a rainbow mix of 8 Miyuki seed beads. And this is a Sam's Bead Shop exclusive house-made mix. And again, it's Miyuki. And it's beautiful. And then there is a Chakra multi-gem smooth round strand. And that's this beautiful, beautiful strand here. So I use those in my chain to make a really beautiful gemstone necklace. Then also I'm going to be pulling in some of the Firepolish rounds. These are Rondelles. And then check out these gorgeous items. So what these are mother of pearl shell Heishi. These are like a grade A shell Heishi. They have so much just luster and flash to them. To do the little spin with those. They're so pretty. And then this beautiful carved butterfly, also white shell. Just really lovely. I hope that's coming across as nice as it looks to my eyes. So what I thought was I'll create a pendant using the seed bead mix. This pendant can become a lot of things. It can become earrings. You could link a bunch of them together to become a bracelet. I'll show you how it's made and other ways that you can turn it into more stuff. And then I made some little dangles. I thought these dangles were really cute. I basically chose one of the chakra stones from the gemstone smooth rounds that spoke to me. I went for the, I believe this one is the Aventurine, the green Aventurine. And I thought that was that's the throat chakra. So speak your mind. And then I went for the seed bead combo that I felt were like more aligned with where I want to take myself. So the green, the turquoise, and then the lapis and the crown chakra. So I have those on there with the little shell, which butterflies are like a symbol of transformation and evolution and growth and flying away and getting free from stuff as well. So I went with that. This necklace is lots of happy meaning, and it has a really beautiful little closure here. I just did a little lobster claw. So I'm going to walk you through all of it. I thought I'd start with a little seed beaded component. And then I was going to move into doing the wire wrapping for our shell butterfly, which I use some 22 gauge German style for that. And all of this is written down in the description to this video, as well as summarized here in the document. But I have some 22 gauge German style for making just the connection here. It seemed to be the right thing for that. I also have some head pins and then things like jump rings. So pretty light in the tools and like extra things. I use some fine beading wire to string my beautiful necklace. And I did pre-string a second necklace that I can use to demo putting everything together, final steps. So you don't have to watch me string, but I summarized this whole pattern in the document. So if you love the way that this is strung and how this looks, it's all summarized for you in the downloadable. All right, so let me bring my screen, oops, so that you guys can see a little better. I'm hoping that it clears up a little bit. I feel like it's fuzzy, and I'm so sorry about that. But hoping it clears up as we go. I'll hold everything up, and I'm working with some black thread today. I'm going to move this away really quick. But I did do my samples with frost. So I used 6-pound crystal to do the stitching here. I'm going to use 6-pound smoke for the demo, just so you can see a little bit better. But the seed beads are exactly the same. And the steps for how to do this are so easy. It's a little shortcut to getting started with your brick stitch. So this is all brick stitch, but one of the easiest ways to get going is to do a single column peyote start. It kind of creates those first 2 rows for you, and then from there you just build on in a very easy increase decrease brick stitch. So I'm going to start with picking up 2 of the purple seed beads and then 1 of the dark blue. Leave about a 7-inch tail. So here's the 7-inch tail side. Here's our working side. And the amount of thread I cut is about 35 inches. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that, but you want to start with about 35 inches. And we're going to leave a 7-inch tail. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to string these 2 purple, the dark blue, and then bring your thread back up through the first purple. So for us, it looks like that. We'll just bring our thread right through. And you're heading back towards the tail when you do that. And pull the working and tail threads apart. And what you'll get is a little peyote stitch start. And I'm just going to help mine sit a little bit more side by side there. For some reason, they're just not. There we go. You want to get them to do that for you. I hope that's coming over not too fuzzy. So just like that. And you just want to pick up a blue seed bead. And there's 2 colors in here. There's a turquoise and a dark blue. So side by side, just you want to go for the darker one just for this step. And bring that needle back through the blue bead. And there you go. So it's going to look just like that. So from here on out, we're just going to create the remainder of those first 2 rows by picking up a bead and going back through what is essentially the up bead. So single column peyote. Really easy, nice, great way to start your brick stitch. And let's see, the next color I have going here. I'm going to bring my sample over. It's going to be the lighter blue, or it's the turquoise. You could call it the turquoise. And bring that back through the blue one there. And one thing you can do to make everything stay pretty tight is you can pinch the beads in your hand as you're bringing your needle through, and that'll help everything stay a lot tighter while you're stitching it. So I'm opening to show you, but when I work these, I usually just keep them held like that the whole time I'm working it. I just don't even set it down. I just keep holding it like that. And bringing each bead through the last one. Switch to green. Through the last one. So you're just changing direction every time. Just move your fingers down and along, and it'll just keep guiding each of those beads into position. So from green, we're going to go to the yellow. And the yellow. And the orange color next here. Oops, I already did orange, guys. And then the red color. Hopefully I didn't skip any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. And there's the red. All right. So essentially that's just it. 2 rows just like that. So it's really quick, nice and easy. And then I'll flip my work to work now so that I'm going to be able to work from left to right, because that's just easier for me to do my brick stitch. So I'll pick up beads in this direction now. And so because we're trying to do a little, let me show you so far what we've done next to one that's finished. So since this is where we're headed, let's get a little better light over here. There we go. We've got these 2 rows done. We know we want to do a decrease as we start row 3. So we'll start with a decrease and we'll end with an increase. And that's how you achieve this diagonal. You could carry this on and make an entire bracelet like this. So it's the same process. And I'll show you making the 7 rows that I did here. So from here, we're going to pick up red and orange, colors A and B on my pattern, and go under the 2nd thread bridge. So that'll give us a decrease. Then bring your needle up through that 2nd bead. And when you tighten it up, you'll get something that looks like that. You notice how the red bead is kind of hanging out. Oh, thanks, Lori. That's a cool compliment. She says, when Danielle says really quick, what she really means is 15 minutes, but for her an hour. Oh, I bet you it takes you less than an hour. Plus, this is really fun. And like the time will fly no matter how long it takes. But so to fix this little bead that just like looks a little wonky there, you can go back through it and then back up through your 2nd bead. When you do that, you'll get a little bit better connection, I guess, or it'll just sit a little easier for you. And so for finishing the row, you're just going to pick up the next color. And you want to go under the next thread bridge for each of the beads. So there's yellow. And here's our green. Turquoise. And here's our blue. And I'm just tightening up my tail thread. And one of the things I could have done is I could have woven this around one time. I might be able to do that now, actually. I'm going to bring my tail thread. You can always just tighten it before you do this last stitch, but we're going to be working into the thread bridge. So I'm going to bring that thread up and then just feed it down. With size 8s, I don't even need to put the needle on it. Just bring that thread right through. There we go. And that's going to lock in my thread bridge here if I'm moving when I bring my next bead on. Hey, Tina. All right, so you'll notice you got to the last thread bridge, but we still want to put on our purple bead. And so all you got to do now is just grab a purple bead and just go under that same thread bridge, the same one we were using before. Just bring your needle right underneath. You'll be able to catch it right there. And then head right up through that bead. So that's an end of the row increase, and you can tighten working in tail threads just by pulling those now if you want to. And there we go. Oh, thanks, Debbie. Yeah, they're super fun. I do love a good Sam's Bead Shop seed bead mix. They always do a really nice job. There's a full tube of them, looks like. It's hard to like not smile when you see them because they're so fun. And so that's pretty much it for row 3. Row 4, because, you know, in keeping with this hope that it'll be diagonal, we're going to need to do yet another increase. So we're going to start the row with an increase this time. So pick up one purple and one of the dark blue and bring your needle under the first thread bridge. So you want to go under the first one. And then bring your needle up through the second bead, which will be that blue one. And your beads will sit like that for you. And it's carrying on our rest of the row. And so just work in order. Red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, purple, and then back again. So here's my green. Here's my yellow. And there's our orange. And so for the ending of this row, all you need to do is place that last seed bead under the last thread bridge. Come back up through it, and it's right where you want it to be. And surely this is brick stitch. We had started with a single column peyote. Yeah, Sandy's got that right there. We started single column peyote to get our first 2 rows going. And the reason we did that is it's just faster. It makes it so much quicker to start brick stitch. You get 2 rows out of the deal, and then you just from there, you move on. You've got your thread bridges already. And so essentially with the way we worked it, we created these. So we created those, right? Your tail ends up coming out here and out here. So I took the tail thread here, which was actually the working thread, apologies, and I did a decrease, increase. We just did an increase, and now we're right here. So all I need to do is 3 more rows. But keep in mind, you can do as many rows as you want. You actually don't need to have the same number as me. Like originally when I wrote this up, I had 9 instead of 7 rows. And then when I decided to do it as a pendant, this was very symmetrical for a pendant. It looks really, really cool. I was kind of just going for some symmetry with the size of the dangle that I wanted to use. So think on that, like when you're making it, if it's going to be a bracelet, if it's going to be earrings, it could be bigger. So, all right, so really quickly, I'm just going to work through the rest of the rows, noting that here we want to start with a decrease. And give me a shout in the chat if you guys feel like you've got this already figured out, and I have a worked ahead sample I can pull out. But just to show again, there's the kind of wonky seed bead look that you get on a decrease start, but you can easily fix that by looping back through those beads. And they'll look just like that for you. Yeah, Sandy, I agree. That single column start is so much easier than laddering. And laddering creates a thickness. You know what I mean? Like it makes a lot of thread passes through. The only thing I would say about the single column peyote start is reinforcing the edge. When you get to that last row, you'll have kind of a loose thread bridge if you don't take the tail thread and kind of loop it around through the beads a couple times, which is what you saw me do there a minute ago because I'd neglected to do that at the beginning. Two, 3, 4. So this is my 5th row. And here's the end of that row where I need to end with an increase. So we'll pick up purple bead, and we'll pick up the thread bridge, same one we had the blue anchored into. And there you go. So I like to flip my work. I do this because I'm right-handed. So, but, you know, when you're working on yours, you'll see if that works for you too. But I think it really helps for me to work in that direction. I'm picking up purple and then the dark blue bead. And because I want to do an increase here, we'll go under that very first thread bridge. And then head up through the second bead we added. And for some reason on an increase, they just pop in place. I don't know why you don't have to fix the kind of tiltedness that they get on a decrease, but I'm happy for it. So bead under every thread bridge for here to the end of the row, and that's all you got to do. So I once did one of these guys full length as a bracelet. It takes a long time, but you'll have plenty of beads. Even if you just get one tube, you'll have plenty to do a bracelet length. And then what you can do is you can drop little dangles along the side. So someday I might try to do a version like that. Like little drops and things like that, or little gems. It's really fun to put little gems on it. Fringe, you could add little edges of fringe to it. Because it would basically, your jump ring would be here, your other jump ring would be there. Picture it really long, and you have these edges, right? And all these little edges are going to have little dangles coming out. So here we go. Here's a decrease. This is our last row. So I went under the second thread bridge to decrease that. I'm going to head up through that orange bead, fix my wonkiness here. Yellow bead. Here's our green. Here's the turquoise one. And blue. And then last but not least, we get one more purple going. Same thread bridge. I'm going to share that blue one with the purple one. And there it is. And something else I want to point out is if you're looking for another idea for necklaces, you can string things like this. Like you could just keep going and then string it later onto some fine beading wire like that. Have a bunch of them, you know, lots of places you can take a design like that. Oh yeah, fringe earrings will be cool, Shirley. I think that would be really, really neat. So there you go. So that was the little pendant part. So you can weave that in. Once you weave in your thread, I'll show weaving in on one side, and you'll have a finished component. And to weave in, all you need to do is bring your thread through a few beads and make a few turns. So I've gone down through, there's 3 beads right there. Make a turn and come up through some beads. And to get through the beads, you'll see me flipping it back and forth, back and forth. I think it's easier to get the needle through front to back like that. For some reason, when I'm heading into the middle of beadwork, it just helps to flip it. Not sure why. I'll do one more turn here. And let's bring that one through here. There we go. So I could trim that side. And then all you need to do for this side, pop a needle on there and weave in that 7-inch tail that you left, doing the same steps. So here's our little pendant. I'm going to grab some jump rings, guys. I just have some 6mm jump rings. They're about, the gauge on them is about 21 gauge or so. I think it doesn't really say. They're just some good old jump rings. And, you know, test the jump rings in your stash and just make sure they fit. Most of them should probably fit, but you will want to test to make sure it can go through your jump ring. I'm going to bring us down just a smidge here so you can see what I'm doing. And get some tools. So here at the top, or it could be the bottom, it actually doesn't matter. I'm going to attach that one. And here's our bottom bead. Jump ring through that one. And there you have a link. That could become a bracelet, earrings, pendant. You got it. Anything like that. It's going to work out really nice. So for for our idea, I was going to need some, we'll start with this one. We'll start with a wire wrapping stage for this one. I'm going to create a little brio wrap, but it's what's called a long brio. And the only difference is you just make it a little longer. And so we'll do that part first. And I started with about 4.5 to 5 inches of wire. I truthfully just eyeball it. And I usually cut too much, but I like to have something to hold on to when I'm doing my wraps. So this probably is about 5 inches. But it's a really forgiving technique. So don't stress too much about the measurement here. Just, 5 inches or so, 22 gauge. Again, that's round, German style. I think craft wire would work too, but the German style is holds its shape really well. So the shell this is pretty strong. I mean, I feel like it was not a fragile bead, but anytime you're working with something like this, you do want to be gentle and make sure you don't crack it. And so what I did is I just kind of used my fingers as a way to act like a guard for it when I do this next step. So bring your wire through about 1.25 inches or so. And then just using your finger as a way to protect the stone. One of the ways to do that is if you place your finger above the place where we're going to bend it, just to get started, it'll take some of the pressure off of it. Because it's that initial bend that's really putting the pressure on your stone. But once you've got that done, you also get a free swaying like movement if you used your finger on the top first, just to do that bending part. So you'll get something like that. And then for this next part, when we said long brio, usually with a brio, you would try to pinch them together close to the stone. But for this one, I'd like it to be a little taller. So I'm going to pinch it up here. And then I'm going to get my round nose pliers really quick and replace my fingers with those. And they're just going to hold it in place like that. Make sure you're happy with the height and that movement. And once you're happy with that, bend the long wire out of your way. Keep it on the tool. I'm going to just get that long wire to be a little further away from you. Just kind of bent down. Flush cutters. I'm going to cut this one here. And it's still sticking up above the tool. That's what we want. Now rotate your tool up so that it is parallel now to the wires that we suspend the brio from, and bring that around the front until it meets the tool like that. And you're going to need to rotate the pliers one more time out away from you so you can complete the circle and bring that around like that. So you'll have something that looks similar to that. And you can remove your tool at that step. And then I'm going to get some chain nose pliers. And I'm going to use these chain nose just to hold that nice loop that I made. And with the either your hand or another set of pliers, you can bend this wire. It is German style, so it's going to be tight, and it's going to hold its shape really nicely for you. And just going around. And I did 3 coils. I don't want to do more than 3, at least in my case, because I didn't make it tall enough for more than 3. And what I mean by tall enough is I don't want to start to compress this anymore, or my little butterfly won't sway anymore. So I'm going to stop there. And then let's take a look at how we'd like to suspend it. So if you'd like your when we trim the wire, if you don't want that to show, then when you trim your wire here at the back, just go ahead and bring it up a little bit and trim it so that when we press that coil down, or the tail of this little wire, that it's at the back of our butterfly. I'm always really careful with it. I don't want my tool to slip. And I'd like him to have some free motion. If I press too hard, it's going to compress, right? There we go. So I'm a careful, slow wire worker, but I got a result that I liked there. There he is. Let me hold it up a little better. I know it's fuzzy, guys. I apologize. I'm looking into getting some fiber, like internet, so maybe it will get better for me soon. But there it is, the back and the front. And really, that all that work, it really is just going to disappear, and it's going to look like a pretty little, you know, suspension. It gives it some height. And one of the cool things about giving it that height, yeah, Jennifer says slow and patient is better. I agree 100% with that. Because speed, often my tools will slip, and then I'll be sad if I damage that. It's so beautiful. And so I was really, really super careful with it. And so here's some head pins. I think these are also 21 gauge. Oh, neat. Karen has a cool idea. I'm going to pop that up on the screen too. So yeah, you could make a little butterfly fidget. That would be really fun because then you could sit there and play with it while you're wearing it. I would enjoy that. That would be really cool. I do play with my jewelry, especially if I'm like in at restaurants or something waiting for food or whatever. You sit there and play with it. It's something to do. And I remember when my littles were really small, they used to play with my jewelry as well. Always nice to have something like that on hand. All right, and so let's make some pretty dangles. I'm going to grab a little, I kept a little baggie of gemstones. So I have quite a few left, actually. And these came from the strand that before I cut the strand up, it looked like this. And by the way, if anybody's a waitlist warrior, if these sell out, I do send these back to Sam's after if I don't end up using them. And I did not end up using these at all, so it pays to waitlist. So this is the strand originally, and I'm thinking let's go for the purple today. I mean, I went with the green Aventurine on my original sample, and it looked really cool. But just whichever one is most meaningful to you, you can just pick that one. So I'm thinking the amethyst is the way to go. Let's grab amethyst here. Yeah, okay. I like that. And I also kind of just by default have been putting the root chakra toward the top of the necklace and then the crown at the bottom, but you could flip that if you wanted. I just noticed I did that again. So I'm going to make a simple loop this time. You could do a wrap loop if you want, but for a simple one, I'm just going to go ahead and bend. I might be able to do this without a tool assist, just using my thumbnail. I'm going to bend this forward. And I'm going to go for about a quarter inch, one quarter inch. But if you just aim your tool at about the center of your stone, if it's 8 millimeter like this, you get a quarter inch right about there. So I kind of sometimes use my stones as a measuring tool. So about the equator there, and the end of that is about the equator. You know, you've got about a quarter inch. And let's just roll that forward. Make a nice little loop there. And I'm just going to open the loop and put on our dangle here. And actually, I just realized I'll probably end up opening that jump ring. So I could have just strung that when I do that, but let's do that now, actually. And if you have a certain side you'd like your stone to hang on, actually, I'm not going to close that yet because we have one more dangle to put on it. One more seed bead dangle. So let's do the opposite of what I did on my sample. My sample I had, I just made 4. So I'll do the other side of the rainbow. So we'll start with the red. orange, yellow, and green. Oops. There's my orange. I'm chasing things around with my headpin. That looks pretty too. And the same thing, I want to do a simple loop with this. If you're having any trouble bending it and the thumbnail trick isn't working, see if it works for me. You can always just use your pliers. Just get them in a spot right above the beads. I think this will work though. And then, eyeball or measure about 1/4 inch. So right about there. Hopefully that's not too fuzzy. So 1/4 inch or so. And I save these because check these out. These are long enough to become a simple loop with a small bead later. So I always hang on to those. Oh, hey, Valerie. Thanks for joining. All right, and so I'm going to bring the tool back. And if you feel with your fingers if you can feel the end of the wire, it'll help you get a more flush closure on a simple loop. So I just kind of feel for if I can feel the end of it when it's flush in the tool like that. And just roll forward. It's a little trickier with the seed beads, but if you hold them like this, it helps. Oops. Don't worry, that wasn't a bead. That was actually my wrist, if you heard that. Poppity pop. And so there's our little dangle. And I'm going to pop that right on here next to my butterfly. And then let's get my square nose, my favorites for closing a jump ring. And there's a lot on this jump ring now, so I'm just going to be super careful. There we go. I love that even more. Isn't that cute? Let me put the other one next to it really quick. You can see a little side-by-side comparison there. What do you think? You like it? So that could be earrings, yeah. It's not super heavy. The shell is really light. So that could easily become a little pair of earrings too, if you didn't want to do a pendant. So oh, hey, Vaughn. Yeah, this could become so many things. So I already pre-made a necklace, guys, because I didn't want you to have to watch me do a bunch of stringing, but I can talk about the pattern that I used. It is on fine beading wire. You could probably also use medium if you want. And I strung a pattern of starting with the garnet. So starting with these. Oh, thanks, Leslie. I'm so glad you like them. I started with the seed beads and then I put the shell on. And this beautiful shell, I've made 2 necklaces now and I still have this much left. How cool is that? But I went with a pattern that just follows the rainbow. So spaced by a seed bead, I went to the garnet, back to the seed beads and shell, and then I used the Firepolish, and that really throws some sparkle in there. It makes it really pop when you're wearing it. When I transitioned colors, so when I went from the red to the orange, what I did was I had a shell, and then I went to the red seed bead, and then I popped on an orange one, another shell, and then switched right to the Carnelian. Firepolish, or the Citrine and the Firepolish. I believe that's the green Aventurine and the green. And then this one, let me get you the name for this one. The Apatite. This is Apatite. Isn't that beautiful? And a beautiful turquoise. Yeah, Jennifer, I love it too. This was something that was really soothing to create. I loved this one. When you get to the Lapis, there wasn't a directly corresponding color on the Firepolish strand for the Lapis. So what I did here is I just went directly to the next gemstone. So just skipped it in the pattern. And I noted that, guys, in the written pattern for you. Everything I'm showing you is written here. So you don't have to memorize it. And there's the repeat point and the color changes identified with a little picture. So you can use that to check out. When you get here, you go back to introducing the purple Firepolish. And then I've already popped a jump ring on there because I pre-strung it. But you'll pop a jump ring on and you'll do 2 of the purple. treat that just like, you know, if you're doing one of the color changes, right? It's just the two. But I stayed with purple, went back to purple, and then just reverse that pattern all the way back up to the end. One tip that I would like to give you for when you string this, these are size 8 seed beads. So size 8 seed beads, when you use them as a spacer, which is what I did here, I used this as a spacer, you're not going to get the bendableness that you would typically get with 11.0 and 15. Because you know I love to use a seed bead as a spacer. With 8.0, you want to give a little more space on the wire. So I'm going to show you how much space I've got on this, and I'll explain why. I'm going to just suspend it for a second. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, check that out. See that gap? That's a pretty big gap, right? But watch what happens when I coil it and move it. It has all that motion. And if I hadn't given it that gap, if I take that gap away and I just make it, I'm going to hold it up really quick and tighten it. And I'll pinch right here just to kind of simulate as if I crimped it right there. Now watch what happens when I try to bend it. It's like kind of a little bit puckery. It still works a little, but you get little, it's less flexible. So my suggestion is to give it a little air when you're making it. You don't want to make it super, super tight. Even as a necklace, I know a bracelet, definitely, if you're doing a bracelet, you want to give it lots of air on your beading wire. Yeah, Debbie, I know it is a bit blurry, and I apologize. Sometimes I mess with my internet, and it's not, I've done like network tests, packet loss tests. I've done so many, so apologies for that, but I am still working on it. But hopefully the instruction is coming across really good. And there was also a handout too. I did a really nice, thorough handout for you guys. So when you get your beads and you start working, you'll have a step-by-step with your pattern and everything. So yeah, all I did from here, and it's really easy. Now, when I made my, when I wrote the instructions, what I said to do on there was to start to string your beautiful design and then string on your pendant. I did something a little different for the demo just so I could have this ready for you. I went ahead and put on my extra jump ring. So if you want your pendant to suspend facing forward, you'll need an additional jump ring attached to the top. And that's the one that you would string on your beading wire. Thanks, Lori. So I'm just going to open this jump ring and pop it on there, but you could, you would have had that probably done already. Working on yours. Whoop, sorry about that. I'm just going to pop that on there and close that jump ring up. There it is. It always looks so good. I love the way that it looks when the pendant's just first put on there. Here's its twin, or its fraternal twin, because I made it a little different with my colors, my gem selections for the dangle. So I wonder, what would you guys create? So I still have my original here. I'll weave in this other end really quick. Do you guys feel like making an earring? We have a few minutes, and I could throw a little earring together, and we could see what that would look like. And then, of course, if there's any questions for any of the stuff that I've shown here, feel free to drop that in the chat. We have plenty of time. Well, thanks, Jenny. Yeah, I loved making these. And Jennifer, I hope you get your beads super fast. May that mail fly your way. I always get excited when I get a box from Sam's, because you know when you open it up, it's going to be just, the anticipation is just like wild. I'm like, I need to open this. And when I first opened this up, I was just losing my mind excited because it was so colorful. And my youngest son was with me at the time. He's usually off school about the time that the mail arrives, and he gets excited because he thinks everything in there's for him. So we go out there, we open up, and he sees the Sam symbol on the box, and he grabs that box and takes off with it. He's like, I will open it for you. I'm like, okay, don't drop anything. So that's part of the fun. And he's been like that since he was little, because it's been part of his life for a long time. He used to sit and watch the live sales with me. Nowadays, he's usually playing Minecraft during live sale time, but still, you know, he's still interested in the beads. So I'm just going to flatten that in there. I just want to weave this in really quick. Thanks, Sherry. And Jennifer, she says, Alex. Oh, thanks, Terry. I'm glad you guys like it. It's a simple design, but sometimes simple is where it's at, you know? And a lot of the bead weaving techniques that we know and love, they're recycled over and over in different applications. So you just get a totally different look. Like you could do this with all kinds of designs. You could create a little pendant like this for other color palettes. And also, I feel like this could become a leaf. You know, if you wanted for fall to turn that into a leaf, it already kind of looks like one. You could just change your bead pattern to look like that. Yeah, let me know if anyone wants a blank. I can give you very easily, I can make you that blank so you can color it in with colored pencils and make yourself all kinds of other little designs. All right, so let's move this one. Little burner here. Feel free to trim that with flush cutters if that's easier. And get some jump rings. And then I need to make a little dangle. So I'm going to grab another head pin. Got those here. So do I want to do a bunch of stones or like 2 or just 1? And if so, which ones? You could go like that. I kind of like that one. Maybe we could do 2 like that. I don't know. Oh, hey, Jody's here. Hi, Jody. I think I'm going to go with the purple and we'll just see what happens. So if this one, I'll just go ahead and bend that. Just checking to make sure I had all my tools that I need. When I trim, I usually use the flush side toward the bead. And you see if I bring my tool to sit at the equator of the bead, you kind of turn it up a little bit, then I'll get an exact 1/4 inch when I trim it. And here's the round nose. Oops. They're moving around on me. There we go. You guys find it easier to do a simple loop when you have the other side to hold on to? I do too. Because it spins here at the base. So there's really nothing to stabilize it. But there we go. Jump ring time. So this is really easy. You could go a lot more in depth with your design when it comes to earrings. So there's that. And we'll pop the top on this one. That is pretty. Ear wires. I know I have some here. Yvonne, I don't have a video tutorial for that yet, but I am in the process of putting one together. So hang tight, and I will be adding that soon. It's on my list of things to do in the next week or 2. There we go. But in the meanwhile, I do have instructions on my website for how to do it, and they're very detailed. So they'll get you started. But yeah, there's our earring. And Debbie, Alex is my 10-year-old. He just turned 10. And Alex is he's into the beads. And he knows Sam, and whenever he hears the live sale, when he hears Sam and Shira on the live sale, he comes running over. When he's not playing Minecraft, that is. Nowadays, he's like so into video games, but he'll come over and he'll be like, let me see, let me see. He'll take the phone out of my hand and start hitting the shot button. No joke. He's like, well, that one's for me, okay? And so some of the stuff, sometimes I have waitlist stuff pop up and I have no recollection of having added it. And I know it was him. So I'm like, oh, I guess that's for him. But there, yeah, that's a really cool earring. So I might make a pair for that. And I'll post that for you guys to see later. So yeah. So I have something else to show you guys. I have a surprise. And some of you guys might have already seen it because it was shared in Gem Chat. But I have you heard of the gem box? So there's a seasonal gem box out right now. Seaside collection. That is so cool and so beautiful. And you guys, the gems are to die for. There's pearls. There's labs, moonstone, strawberry quartz. It's an intensely beautiful box. And so I have two little pieces of jewelry to share. One of which I'm wearing, so I'll have to take it off to show you. But here's one of them. So this one is using what in the gem box is called the pearl soup. And so I thought that was so cute. There's a bunch of different earth tony reddish brown pearls. They're stunning. And then these are the most high quality flashy lab chips I've seen in a long time. They are so cool. I combined them with some seed beads. I had these, there's a Toho collection on the website, Sam's Bead Shop website, that has 11O oxblood in it. It's a set of 4, but I pulled this one out and I used that as my spacer. So you've got 3 seed beads and the pearl and the labs. We're doing a class on this coming up in the following week. I believe it is on the 13th that we're going to be teaching this. And so that's a live with Sam on, I think it's Friday the 13th, actually, which is a lucky day in my family. So it's a good day. And we're going to be doing how to do this necklace. And let me show you another one. I've been wearing it all day. It's my favorite one because I just sometimes really love a good pastel-y. So here it is with a little 4mm shell. And yeah, surely me too. The flashy labradorite is this like, woo, so pretty. And this is really, really, really nice pearl. Like some very, 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 very beautiful freshwater pearls there. And again, I use those little seed bead spacers. So that's one of the necklaces I did. I made in total 12 pieces of jewelry, some of which aren't in the picture that's posted in Gem Chat. So I have some surprises up my sleeve with my leftover beads. And I'm still going. I still have beads left. It's a massive box. It has tons of beads in it. I was really shocked like how much beads. So, but one of the things we're going to demo. Oh, thanks, Colleen has popped the link, guys, for you to go ahead and find this is the gem box Seaside. This little setting. Okay, so I'm not an expert on this. So you're going to be learning from uber beginner, which is kind of good because I can share step by step from the perspective of a recent beginner how this was done. It's something that I focused on for several days that I did not get right the first time. But it wasn't hard once I figured out a few little tricks that were not necessarily like maybe official way to do it kind of tricks, but they worked for me. So I will show you how that goes and how you can create. Now this is a top drilled stone, but I wanted to practice and it was a beautiful shape and size for learning how to do this kind of a cabochon. There is a true cabochon, no holes in the box that I'm going to do this kind of a setting for as well. I'm just playing with that. So we'll demo that together with Sam on the 13th. And we'll show some other jewelry off that day too. I'm excited because I want to show you guys all the stuff I made. So yeah, does anybody have any questions for me about today's class or any of the upcoming stuff that we have going? The link to buy the gem box is in the chat. And it has everything I've shown here plus a ton of more stuff that I just wasn't able to fit on the mat because it's a lot. Yeah. And so I'm just going to go ahead and look for, oh, Jennifer's asking, what is the seed bead mix name? Yeah. So the mix is, I believe they called it the Rainbow Mix, Opaque 80 Miyuki rounds. Here's a full one because that one is used up a lot. But yeah, just called the Rainbow Mix, nice and simple. There's a link to shop everything I used in today's class. That one is the Sam's Bead Shop Pages Rainbow. And Colleen's been dropping it in the chat. So you'll, oh, she's got it right there. Yeah. So you'll be able to find it. And then everything I used today is at that location. So you'll be able to find all of the strands. Here's one you just don't want to miss. This one is gorgeous. The citrine on here really caught my eye. Look at the color in that. I'm going to sit here and stare at that. It's really pretty. Oh, Jody, you're excited to learn that. You know what? I forced myself to learn, and I almost gave up a few times because so a lot of the really good instructions out there, and they're great instructions, but they're I was getting stuck on the bail. So I can get this part like where you get the, and some of them, some folks will do like 3, you know, wires. And so those techniques worked for me okay, but then you have a lot going on at the top. I ended up going with the swirls, which is something people do, but I made them look kind of like a vine, as I felt like this looked like a wine country color. So I felt like there's a little wine theme happening there. But I bet you we could do all kinds of other little flourishes and shapes and maybe bend them down over the stone a little bit. I've seen a lot of wire artists do that where they kind of shape it and form it around the front of the stone. Being really gentle with the stone was the tricky part for me because I was putting a lot of pressure on the stone. So I'll share how I got around that, that kind of like struggle that I was having. But yeah. I have so much beads in front of me, and they're all so pretty. I'm having bead overload. So let's see. I'm seeing the links. Thank you so much, Colleen, for dropping all of these links, so we can find both the rainbow pages and the upcoming gem box. I think when I last talked to Sam's Bead Shop, they had 32 left, but that was a couple days ago. So I would get on that if you're interested in having one. And then I will see you guys for that class on next Fridays when we're doing that live. And hopefully I'll figure out my fuzzy internet by then. I'm working on it. If anyone has any tips for me, please reach out. I can share what I'm doing configuration wise, but I have been, I'm gonna have to call in the experts. You know, I'm wondering when it gets hot, it's like super hot here now. For Seattle, it's hot. We're like over 80, we start dying, right? So I'm wondering if maybe something's going on related to the heat and the wiring, which would freak me out, but anything's possible. Let me know. Oh, Shirley says she got her gem box. Oh, awesome. Yay. Oh, hey. Here we go. 27 boxes left. That's, yeah, you guys got to, those will be gone in like an hour or 2. So I would get on those. Definitely. And it's so worth it because it's just like one of the best boxes I've seen in a while. And I love a gem box. And I was expecting to be kind of in awe just at the gate. But when I opened this one was so me. I love strawberry quartz. It's one of my faves. And then when I saw those labs, and that's not even like all of it. It's like, oh, thank you, Cecilia. Oh, that's so sweet. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Cecilia. Well, I hope you guys are having a great Saturday. I'm still scanning the chat just to see if I've missed any questions, just really quick. And let's see. Oh, Marianne, that's so nice to say. Great job on the swirls. Yeah, I worked on those swirls really hard. I'll share how I did it because it was one of those things where I just kind of played with it for a while and then finally got it right. I have some bloopers too that I cut up, but I took pictures of the bloopers, so we can maybe share those, or I'll post them or something. All right, so I want to wish you guys a great rest of your Saturday. If I missed a question, feel free to reach out in Messenger. And if you're looking for something, I can lead you to it or try to point you to another video that I've done. If any of these techniques, I have a few brick stitch videos I could point you to. So, but I feel like we can see it pretty good today. So, yeah. And in case I missed anything else, no, it looks like I'm good. So I wanted to say thank you again, and I'll see you for the next one, and happy beading till then.